All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and if you're here, it's because you're ready to reduce stress, burn stubborn fat, and get your body working with you instead of against you. On this podcast, we're all about simple, no BS strategies for fitness, nutrition, and lifestyle. This way, you can feel strong, confident, and in control. I'll give you the tools, mindset shifts, and habits to help you look and feel your best without spending hours in the gym or stressing over every single meal. Now, let's get into it. All right, welcome back. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about life. Now, recently I was in a training session with one of my clients and we got to talking about feeling caught up in life, right? Like there's all these pressures of work goals, relationships, your health, the routines that you have, and all the other adult responsibilities that we have to take care of on a day-to-day basis. Right? And what I was saying was, even though I feel as though I'm doing a lot of the quote unquote right things, I still feel empty at sometimes. Like I love what I do. I get to train people and work on people's health and get to communicate on a deep level and connect with people. Like I love that. I truly enjoy what I do. But sometimes you get caught up in it all and it all seems to leave you feeling a bit empty. And I know that's not about what exactly I'm doing or you might be doing to feel that way, but it's the disconnect from those things and from your true self that leaves you feeling that way. So that's what we're going to talk about today, because in the Potential Project, right, where our goal is to pursue our full potential in all areas of life, this comes into play really strong. Because if you get wrapped up in all of these habits and all of these things that you need to do on a daily basis, but forget why you're doing them in the first place, it can all kind of feel a little overwhelming. And I don't want you to feel that way, because I've felt that in the past, and sometimes it pops up stronger than others. But we're going to talk about ways to anchor yourself back in and not have to deal with that on such a deep level. So, when we were reflecting and I was talking to my client about this, it was like the feeling of like constantly being in motion, but not fully present sometimes. Like you're working towards something, you're actively being, productive or doing things during your day, whether that be a habit, a goal towards your health and fitness, your work, your relationships. You're doing the action steps that are moving the needle forward, quote unquote. But sometimes you're not fully present in the moment of what you're getting out of that or how you're feeling or what lights you up. So that numbness kind of creeps in and all of a sudden it just hits you like a brick wall. So that's the moment that I realized that I needed to come back to myself and to give myself a reset in order to feel the lust and the joy in life again. And I'm not meaning for this to sound like, morbid or negative, but it's just the truth sometimes, right? We get caught up in life, we're doing things, we're hustling, and we lose that excitement that we once had. And I refer to it as like being a kid. I know we can have good, exciting times as an adult, but man, when you were a kid and there was no real responsibilities and you didn't have a good grasp on what life fully entailed, you were just focused on playing with friends, doing things that were fun, watching cartoons, eating snacks, like doing all that fun stuff, and you weren't concerned with working a job or paying bills or supporting a family or anything like that. And man, you can kind of get caught up in it if you don't catch yourself. So I'm catching myself, and maybe this is a sign for you to catch yourself too. So why does this happen, right? Why do we feel like this? And why does life start to shift from feeling like you're living it to managing it? Like managing your time, managing your priorities, managing your habits. And why does productivity become your identity? I don't know about you. This might just be me, where the things that you want to accomplish, you need to be productive towards them, like you need to use your time wisely. And that becomes almost like a badge of honor and your identity of someone who is productive, who is a high achiever, who is doing good things in the world. And that kind of, you wear that as a badge and an identity. It can become all overcoming in your life, and that makes you lose sight of what your whole purpose here is, right? your goals, they can become pressure instead of purpose. So if you have a deadline for something at work, if you're, again, maybe you're trying to lose weight or put on muscle, right? Like these goals that you have, they all of a sudden start to hold this different weight on you where it's not something that you're doing because you love yourself and an act of kindness. It's like you need to do it and it's got to hit a deadline and you have to do it with that pressure instead of doing things out of purpose where it's like you truly stand behind something, you truly have these core beliefs and you're taking action towards these goals based on your purpose. Now, what adds to this whole thing is the fact that there's social media, right? I don't know if you all have social media, but I know for me, if you scroll on any type of Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok, all it is an ability for you to be overstimulated and to potentially be comparing yourself because the algorithms know what you like and it's going to put things on your feed that feed your interests, right? So if you're working on a health goal, you're going to start to see people that have what you want, right? They've achieved the goal or they're working on it too. And that just gives you this opportunity to either take advice from it or to compare. And all too often, we use social media as a way to, compare ourselves, to feel like we're not doing enough or that we're not being enough. And for sure, every time we go on there, you're overstimulated with colors and sights and sounds and quick changing motions and videos, right? TikTok, Instagram, all those videos are like 3 to 4 second clips and they shoot to the next clip because our attention span is so short and it's almost training us to have that shortened attention span. So it gives us that dopamine rush and we become overstimulated. And when all of that is happening, we forget and we stop checking in with ourselves and we start running on this autopilot. And I truly believe this is why I felt that way. This is why I had that moment in time where I needed to reflect upon it and why I'm talking about it to you now is that you may be on autopilot right now where you have your routines, you have your habits, you have your thoughts, you have your things that give you dopamine like social media, and you're stimulated and distracted by it all, and your body and your life is running on autopilot. Now, this is where you might feel that sense of joy went away or that sense of purpose is kind of on the back burner right now because you're so used to just operating the way that you are and getting done what you need to get done that you forget to step back. And another term that comes up, and it could be overused or misused, is the term burnout. Like you may feel like you're burnt out at work or you're burnt out in a certain scenario. And most people aren't burnt out because you're weak or you're undisciplined. You could just be burnt out because you're disconnected, right? Think about that for a moment. Like, no one is going to have this job or these things that they do that are super enjoyable every day of the year for the rest of their life. No matter what job you're in, there's going to be parts of it that are not that enjoyable sometimes. But that's okay, right? You're allowed to not be in complete joy and lust every single day of your life. The point I'm trying to make is if you've found yourself in this position where you feel quote unquote burnt out, take a step back. And we're going to do some things where we can reset and take the step back, but truly pause for a moment and realize, are you fully burnt out or are you just disconnected from you, the person, what you're doing, and what really lights you up in life? Because when your nervous system is always in like go mode, you're not always present, right? Like if your mindset and nervous system and body is always like, how can I be productive? What should I be doing? What's this next habit that I should do? Am I moving the needle forward? You're never able to take that step back and calm your nervous system and be present with the people, with your thoughts, and with the actions that you're doing in this very moment. And that's the purpose of life, right? Presence, being aware, and being fully in the now is how you get the most out of your life. Now, the way we step out of this fog, out of this feeling burnt out sensation, and out of all of these scenarios that I'm talking about is what I would call an anchor. Hey, hope you're loving the episode so far. Thanks for spending some time with me. I got a quick favor to ask. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast because that's how I know you're getting value from the show. And this way, you never miss an episode. All right, now back to the show. Right? Something to pull you out of this autopilot sensation that you've been on and really anchor you back into the present moment. So these are experiences or habits or things or thoughts that are going to get you out of that autopilot sensation, right? So some of the anchors and things that I do to bring me back to feeling joy, to feeling presence, to feeling the love for life are, I'll just name a few of the ones that I typically do, right? I like to walk without distractions. Like, yes, I like using my AirPods and listening to songs or a podcast once in a while, but what really puts me in the present is walking without any of that stuff. Just totally taking a stroll, whether it's with the dog or whether it's just by myself, just taking a walk. Another thing I like to do is reading by myself, right? You get in a cozy spot, you dive into a book that you're interested in or that I'm interested in, for example, and I totally let myself immerse into the learning or the story in the book. Another thing I like to do is just spend some quality time with Gianna, whether that's going to get a coffee, running errands, getting dinner. It's just one-on-one time without any distractions. That totally brings me back into the now and makes me feel super lit up with joy and excitement. I like to play with my dog, right? Sometimes I'll just get on the floor and throw the toy with Palmer, and she usually doesn't bring it back and she bites on me, but it's okay. Like you put work aside, you put all the thoughts aside, and you just play. And then just some slower moments, right? Now this might be a meditation, this might be a breathing technique, this might be me just taking a step back without screens, without stimulation, and just reflecting, right? Like allowing my body to just pause for a moment that have no agenda, like being bored, so to speak. I don't know if we do enough of being bored. We're so worried about if we're being productive or not that we sometimes forget all that learning that we're doing, all that stimulation that we're getting. We need to process that somehow, and that somehow can be being bored. So I like to give myself a few minutes to just be bored, and that's hard. When you first start doing it, you almost fidget. Your body almost is in pain because you think you should be doing something at all times. But there's some power in just having some slower moments with no agenda. Now, the reason why I do these and the reason why they work is that, number one, these pull me out of the mental noise. There's the negative feedback loop and all of the talking going on inside of your head and in the public, right? There's noise on social media, there's noise on the news, and there's noise inside your own head of those conversations that are always spinning. But doing these habits that I was just referring to before, they allow me to almost get into like the flow state where that noise is shut off. Another thing that happens is it creates presence in my life. I fully am aware of what I'm doing. When I'm on the walk, I'm feeling, the air on my skin. I'm listening to the birds. I'm listening to my thoughts. I'm feeling how my body feels to recover and to go for a walk. That brings tremendous presence to me. It also reconnects me to joy. When I'm, let's say getting a coffee with Gianna, like I am in pure joy. We are not thinking about anything, we're just hanging out, right? Those moments make me more happy than most things, right? So if I'm able to do those, like play with the dog, go for a walk, read a book, I get to tap into the pure joy that's inside of me. Another thing, like I mentioned before, is it regulates my nervous system. Man, the power of taking a step back and doing some breathing, that bored time, right, where I just sit there and focus on my breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, like slowing things down and feeling my nerves literally calm down. There is a huge power in that. And then another thing, and this just happened today, honestly, I was out there shoveling snow, and that was kind of a repetitive, like almost meditative state, right, where there's just you and the shovel. But it reminds me that I am more than just a to-do list. Right? Like I was reflecting on that as I was shoveling, but it's like your life matters. And the things you're working towards, the people in your life, I know you're trying to make an outcome happen, right? Whether that's to be the best mom in the world, to improve your relationships, to improve your health, like you're working towards something. And as a human, you should be. But all of the things that you have on that to-do list for today and for the week, you are more important than that. You are more powerful than those things on the list. And you need to remember that. And sometimes these anchors allow you to do so. So I always like to have some type of action step or something that you can reflect on, because again, I appreciate you listening, but if there's no positive outcome from it, then I feel like, it goes in one ear and out the other. So I want you to be able to do something in hopes that you can experience this feeling that I am, right? These moments of joy and bliss throughout your day and your life to bring you back to center. So you don't need to do this right now, but here's some questions that I would propose if you want to write them down or reflect on them that'll really help. So first one is, when was the last time you felt fully yourself? Like, remember when you were a kid and you were just on the playground and you were fully expressing who you are? There was nothing holding you back. You were just being totally free and totally yourself. When was the last time that happened? The next question is, what activities used to light you up that you stopped doing? Maybe you like to play an instrument. Maybe you like to play video games or paint or, do some type of thing with your hands, like build something. What are those activities that used to light you up that you stopped doing? The next question, what moments in your week feel peaceful, grounded, or meaningful? Reflect on the past couple days, the past couple weeks. Where are those moments in your schedule where you feel at peace, where you feel present, and that feel that you're doing some meaningful work? And then lastly, do you currently have anything built into your life for just joy, right? Like, are you doing any activities that are simply, they're not to move your health forward, they're not to move your relationship or your business forward, they're just for you to experience joy? Now, if you need to, pause this, listen to those again, write them down, because I want you to reflect on them and actually get something out of this, because those are good reflection questions for you to recenter and bring those anchors back into your life. Now, the action step that goes with these, right, is that you should take one anchor, pick one of those, and even if it's for 10 minutes, put it on your calendar, right? From those prompts that you just answered, you should have one thing and one daily anchor that you can do for 10 minutes and put it on your calendar, right? Schedule it like it's an appointment, protect it like it matters, because when you start small and do these consistent actions, it's going to way outweigh the intense like detoxes or challenges or big things that you're trying to do. And what would that look like? That would mean, let's say you did those prompts and you found out that you really enjoy drawing. Like when you were younger, you used to just sketch things and do some colored pencil drawings, and you really enjoyed expressing yourself through that, and you felt present, and you felt happy, and you felt like a part of you was doing that activity. Well, maybe you look at your calendar and you find 10 minutes during your week and you schedule that in, that you're going to draw for 10 minutes. No phones, no laptops, no conversations, just you, your pad, and your drawing. Now, of course, this isn't an arbitrary situation. This could be anything for you. It could be going for a walk. It could be getting a massage, whatever it is. Something that brings you back to joy and makes you feel fully alive, and schedule it on your calendar. Because when we do those things, it helps us kind of refresh ourselves and realize how important the other things that we're doing in life. It brings the fun and the joy back into the monotonous things at work, the health habits that you might be working on. And it gives you that reframe each and every time you do it to just come back to joy, right? So I want you to take a moment and reflect on those things. You don't have to do it right now. Maybe you do it later on in the day, but write down those questions that I said, and reflect on them, because they're going to bring up some things that maybe you forgot about. Because remember that you can build this life, right? You can chase the goals that you have, you can improve your health, and you can still do all those while staying connected to who you truly are. You just need to have these intentional moments that are built in throughout your life that bring you home, right? That bring you back to yourself. So if you got something from this, please share it with a friend. But more importantly, please do this, right? These reflections are very powerful, and they're going to help you channel that inner power, that inner joy that you have, and allow life to be a lot more fun and not so serious. So I'll see you guys next time on Tuesday. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me on today's episode. I hope you got a ton of value from it. If we're not connected on Instagram yet, let's change that. Hit me up at Sean Calhoun _. That's SEAN Calhoun _. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you think of the show or if you got any questions about how to level up your health. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode.